So I think what the important thing is to unlearn our habit of non-acceptance, because we are so used to non-acceptance of everything in our lives. It's just everything. So acceptance is really about, making space for the pain, acknowledging its presence, recognizing that there is room for it alongside all the other stuff that makes us us, that makes life life. So it doesn't mean that I have to be only with my pain or only with life. And only when I finish feeling the pain can I go back to my life. No, it doesn't have to be that. I can have the grief and the pain of having lost a loved one and still be able to contribute to my life in a positive way. That is what a loved one would really want of you as well. They would not want to see you sitting in a, in a place of darkness for the rest of your life because of the loss. So
Right.
it's how am I making place for being, for just feeling, and allowing myself to feel what I feel, accepting what I'm feeling, accepting that this is what I'm feeling right now, accepting that there is going to be movement from here, accepting that it is going to be a new change, accepting that you would like that change, because otherwise you're going to just be stuck in the past. And you're just going to be, it's about making peace with ourselves. It's about making peace with ourselves and the current situation so that we can go on living and loving and doing. And that's what takes us forward. And really to befriend reality, because reality is it can be harsh. Reality is that everything changes and ends. Everything, right? That's one of the most important things of reality in our lives, that everything changes and ends. What is a form goes back to wherever it came from, in any form, whatever it is. So things do not always go according to the plan. We do plan, and it's great to plan. It's a plus to be able to plan. I've never been a planner, but it's great to plan. So life isn't always fair. We have to accept that life isn't always fair. No matter what I try, sometimes things don't turn out the way they should, and that is part of life, that is part of learning, that is part of growth. There is a very specific reason why it is all there the way it is. It's a much larger picture which maybe we don't understand at this moment. Maybe we understand it later in life. Maybe we get the, maybe post life we get the answers. We don't know. But uncertainty is always going to be there, and pain is part of life. As much as happiness is part of life, pain is also part of life. We never signed up for life saying, oh, I'm going to have the happiest life and nothing is going to get me down, and I'm never going to feel pain, and I'm never going to feel sad. that, None of us, I don't think anybody has experienced that kind of life. And if you have, please contact me. I would like to know your secret. That's an amazing life to have. But pain is always going to be part of life, right? And people are also, one very important thing to always remember is that people are not always loving and loyal all the time. They are not. And
Mm.
that's them, that's their story. That has not got to do with you. It doesn't
Mm.
have to do with your inability of being who you are, or the lack of being who you are, or anything like that. But there are people, and that's their own journey, that's their own understanding of life, that's their own understanding of how they want to live. So you mentioned like about the blame earlier in the conversation. So at that point, am I choosing to put my energy and my thought process towards the blame on that person? Or why even waste that energy and thought on that, right? Why even
Yeah.
put that, like, blame is just something that person anyway, whether he's there or she's there or not there or whatever, that person is not there any longer. So to blame that person means I'm still giving that person energy and space in my being, in my thought process, in my heart, in my, why? Is that person really worth that energy and thought process? I guess not, right? If that person doesn't think that I'm good enough, then that person doesn't need to be good enough to be in my thoughts and in my heart as well. You can just, like, move on. So
Yeah.
these are some of the things that are, like, it is hard to accept, but it's not impossible to accept. And also, like, you say, I can't believe that this happened to me. That's some of the things we say, right? When anything has happened and we don't want to accept it, I
How
can't
could
believe
this
that this.
happen to me?
Yeah. So how about, if we, have you ever heard anybody say, I can believe that this just happened? We never heard that, right? I can believe that
No.
this just happened. So what if we introduced that? What if we just introduce that thought that I can believe that this has happened, and that will, this perception will help me to feel more accepting and stable in the situation, in the emotions. I'll feel emotionally a bit more stable if I'm able to just say, I can believe what has just happened. It it's a different thought process completely, but it will give you the emotional honesty to accept what is going on right now. It will, you will be able to see it for what it is, and it's easier. The blow is a little bit easier, a little bit softer on the sides, rather than just, you know, full on into you. So if you are able to, you know, say that in that moment, or it will just help you a little bit more than in lessening the intensity of the emotion. So that is something that you could try as well. um, and also, like I, you know, when you said that when you feel frustrated or upset by someone, or the person or the situation, just remember that it's your feelings that are, it's your feeling, it's my feeling that I am feeling frustrated right now. So that feeling is only something that you can control, or you have a say over. I wouldn't want to even really use the word control, because then that also means like I'm just not going to address it. But it's what
Mm.
you have the ability to use to your advantage. So how do you use that emotion to your advantage is something that you can really think about. And also the the ability to just accept things that can't be changed, to be okay with it, to know that there is uncertainty in the future, to know that it's okay whatever happened in the past, and to know that there is an imperfection in the present. There is imperfection in the present, and it's okay. And it's from the imperfection that I learn something. It's from the imperfection that I grow. It's from the imperfection that when I accept that imperfection of the present, it's then that I can let go of anger, stress, anxiety, hatred, depression, also disappointment, guilt. These are all emotions that I can let go of when I'm able to just understand that there is an imperfection in the present moment too, that everything doesn't go perfectly in life. And that makes it a little bit easier for acceptance, to know that we can do this and I am going to be able to get through this, and allow yourself to really experience whatever it is that you're going through, but knowing that somewhere within you, you know, Eva, you asked me this question, like how will I know when I'm when I'm ready? We all have that intuitive voice within us. It's not somebody who's spiritual who only has it. It's not somebody who's on a religious path who has it. Each of us have that little voice within us, which will tell you, which will say, you're not, you don't, you know, you're ready. You don't need to be doing this anymore. Now, again, it comes back to choice. Do I choose to listen to that voice, or do I just choose to subdue that voice and continue where I am? But we have that intuition within us. That voice is there, and there's nobody who can deny and say that I don't hear that intuition. Each of us has it. Each of us has a varying degree of it. And the voice can be very loud to the person who is least spiritual and least religious as well. But it's there. It's a guiding force within us. It's that guiding lantern within us. And what I choose to do with that voice is important, because that is what is guiding me towards self-acceptance and acceptance.
How to fine tune, you know, your ability to listen to your intuition, and also how do you differentiate between thoughts and intuition?
Thoughts are in the mind, Eva, and intuition is in your heart. That's the only simplest way that I could put it. You have to listen to your
Yeah,
heart. That's your intuition. Your
there
mind
you
has
go.
different thoughts, different, your mind is at a completely different level. If you connect to your heart, your mind will rationalize everything that you do. Your mind will tell you, if you feel that you want to say something and you can get away with saying it, your mind will rationalize that it's fine for you to say it. It's in your heart that you will have that conscience. It is in your heart that you will have that intuition. It is in your heart that you will have the answer that maybe I shouldn't have said what I said the way I said it. It's your heart. So that's the biggest difference between the two. I'd like to say that intuition is not effort. It's something that is there within us. Like how we have when we're children, where there's bliss, the way the birds sing, It's not, it's just there. It's an innate ability within us. So intuition is just an innate ability within us. The more I listen and focus on the voice, the more I'm able to hear it louder. So that's it. That's all I need to do. There's nothing. I mean, of course, there is so much of, meditation and so many ways and means that people have come about to, activate the intuition, whatever. But honestly, you don't need to do any of that. You just need to hear. You just need to quiet, like just cut off your mind and listen to your heart. And you can do that through breath. You can do that through just closing your eyes, listening to your intuition, asking yourself a question, and you'll know that you get the answer. So sometimes, I do this with people who are very cynical when they come in for a healing session. They're like, we don't know why we're here, or we've never done this, and I don't think it's going to work for me. And I won't make them do anything except just close their eyes and listen to their heart and ask them, what are you feeling at this moment? Everybody has a feeling. Everyone feels
Right.
a feeling at some point. So even if it's a feeling of disbelief, it's a feeling. So if I'm able to feel that, if I'm able to feel that emotion, that is my intuition telling me that I'm feeling what I'm feeling right now. So there was one guy who turned around and at the end of the session said, my mind told me that I would not listen to anything that you were going to say. But the way my intuition tuned into myself, I was able and willing to receive everything that you said. So
Wow.
it's just the intuition. Your intuition is just the voice within you. Just close your eyes and listen to it, have a conversation with it. It replies back to you.
I was speaking to a friend the other day, and she's in the same field of work, giving inspiration to people. And she mentioned that, one of the exercises she teaches, ask yourself in the mirror, what can I do today to make you happy? We always ask that question to other people in our life, especially during times of difficulties. In fact, we should be doing this every day. What can I do to make you happy today? And then accept the situation, etc. And the other thing is, all these things that we discuss here, what they do is they help bring thoughts forward, isn't it, Payal? We all have it in our background, but then we just get so busy with life doing things that we thought we should be doing. And when these difficult situations comes in our life, it presses the pause button and it forces us to, take a moment, reflect, look at you, what makes you you, and bring everything from the back to the front and introspect. And because, what you think is what you become, right, Payal?
Very true. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that other tip that you did as well, because that's a very important thing for us to be able to do that. It's not comfortable for us to be able to do that sometimes, to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, what is it that I can do to make you happy? Because we feel that our happiness is not something very important or very significant. And especially in a moment when it's difficult to accept something, you would put your happiness really as the last thing ever, because there's so much that you need to deal with. But to know that the happiness, even though it is on the back burner, it's important at some point for that happiness to be brought to the front. And that is your journey in acceptance. It's when I'm able to accept that in this moment, I can also in the future be happy, and have that at the back of your mind. And when you are ready to bring that to the front, you are able to work on that as well. I'm going to actually cover it in the next topic, which we have is self-acceptance. But I also, in case people don't watch that, this is what I'm now watching this, I'd like them to know that also compassion towards yourself at the time that you are in is very important. The compassion to accepting, allowing, being how you are, whatever you're feeling. There's no judgment over there. There is no feeling of, I shouldn't be feeling this, and let me just, lock away everything that I'm feeling right now because I need to be able to do everything else. And so many reasons why we don't address our emotions at the time. So to just allow ourselves that compassion towards ourselves, to allow ourselves to just be ourselves, allow ourselves to feel what we're feeling, and just to have that love towards yourself as well. Exactly as you would give it to a friend or a relative who was going through a difficult time at a time when they were not able to accept their situation. What is it that you would do for them? Do exactly the same thing back to you. And I think that's a very important part of acceptance as well, to just love yourself in everything and accepting everything that you're feeling. So the modality that I would like to show it is something, again, that is very safe and for everybody to do. It's called radical crystalline mind or radical healing. So it's a bunch of reorganization statements, really, which reorganize our subconscious, reorganizes the energy, which is probably not aligned in the right way at that moment. So these are some of the things. So I'm sharing it with acceptance, but it is something that can be used across board for anything. So the statements are basically: I revive, I
Mhm.
recognize, I realign, I reorient, and I reposition. So these are the 5 R's. Okay.
Okay.
So when it comes to acceptance, I can say I revive my inability to accept the situation, or or whatever it is that you're feeling at that moment. So the pain in the inacceptance, or the inability to accept the current situation, the feeling of lack, the feeling of whatever you're feeling with the situation, with the reality of the situation, with your inability to accept what it is, you can use these statements. So I'll repeat them again. I revive, I recognize, I realign, I reorient, and I reposition. So this was to make you understand what the 5 words are. A shorter way of saying this would be I are 5. So the alphabet R for the 5 that I just shared to you, and the number 5 because they're 5 reorganization statements. So you can
Right.
also say I are 5, my inability or my lack of acceptance of the situation, or the feeling that I'm feeling during that. So you say each statement 7 times. So it could be I R5, my lack of acceptance, say that 7 times. I R5, the whatever feeling it is. Supposing I'm feeling the pain, I R5 the pain that I'm feeling in this moment of lack of acceptance. Then after you continue saying these 7 times, something within you will come up with different emotions or different things. So it's like a folder opening up, and you're going to each new level of emotion that comes about. It's like a library you're opening up to address the emotion within you. So you can continue this process of whichever emotion, whichever word is coming up for you. And supposing after my inability to accept, it's coming up that I'm feeling pain in this. So I would say I R5 the pain. After the pain, if I say that 7 times, I feel the next word coming up for me is anger. I would say I R5 the anger towards the situation, or I R5 the anger towards me, whatever you're feeling. So you go on repeating each statement 7 times till you reach a point of neutrality. At some point, you reach a stage of neutrality, and that is where you can stop for that time being, and you can come back to it at another point. So it's a very easy process to say I R5. So R, the alphabet R, and the number 5, and you go on using these statements to reorganize the energy within your mind, to reorganize the statements within your subconscious mind, which allow you to then address everything and resolve everything and move forward. So this is one of the modalities that you could use. So you can use it for anything. It could be IR5 my hopelessness, IR5 my uncertainty, IR5 my inability to accept my reality, IR5 my pain, IR5 like what you can even R5 go to the extent of R5ing the aspect of what is not acceptable to you, of your inability to accept. So break it down as you go, like break it down into smaller elements. Like think for yourself, what is it that I'm not able to accept, and then break those elements down, and then you can use each of those elements to continue the statement process of IR5. So that is the modality I would like to share with you for today. And this goes across board for any of the other issues that you may be facing. These statements can be used for everything.
This is beautiful. I was just thinking, I mean, you and me were talking about acceptance, but supposing you're in a nervous situation, you just have to go for an interview or something. You earn R5 your nervousness. Would it work
Yes,
on that?
yes, yes, absolutely. You just go on saying it, and whatever the next word is coming up or the next feeling that's coming up for you, just continue to R5 that, and it will really help you. It's a very quick tool, and it really helps a lot. It neutralizes the intensity of emotion at the point.
You know what I love the most, about these series is, we deep dive, yes, into a topic, and then we get an in-depth understanding of what it is, and then we come up with these solutions to it, and just makes me feel that I mean, I'm a big believer that there's always a solution to everything, and here there's just a package, a ready-made answer, to tackle life situations, especially when you're feeling stuck, or when you're feeling lost. And it's so beautiful. Thank you, Payal. So in summary, it's just you're in the dark, you have a torch. all that you need to think about is, you know, the next step that you can see. Just take that baby step and know that, you know, something good comes out of it, no matter how um, hopeless it looks at the moment. You know, something good is going to come out of it, which is your growth, right? And also, I'd like to share something that's just come to my mind that someone, you know, shared with me when before I met you, Payal, before we started working together. And it was beautiful. It kind of, I was like, yeah, I got this. You know what she said? She said, "You're going to be okay." You know why? Because you've got you, and you've done this before. You've done this before. You've gotten through so many difficult situations. And you know what? You will get yourself through this as well. You've got you. Don't forget that. And another one was, then you started from scratch. You didn't know anything. But now you're starting from experience. And I think these are
Yeah.
so beautiful to bear in mind, when we're dealing, with something so difficult. And I mean, we keep using the word difficult, struggles, which all have negative connotations. But what if we look at it as, contrast? It is darkness that helps us see light. It is black that helps us appreciate white. As difficult as it is in that moment, or as impossible as it seems in that moment, as long as we remember that, I think it gives us that hope and that strength to keep moving forward, isn't it, Payal?
Beautiful. I think that's a perfect way to end the session with those thoughts, and to really keep people with that, thinking that and remembering that, because it's a wonderful way to begin something new, and it's also a beautiful conclusion to bring about to whatever is happening with us. Thank you.
Thank you to you as well, Payal. And next week, we continue with our journey into the mind, exploring a new topic. So please make sure to come join us. And if you are hearing noise in the background, it is my 3-year-old niece, Ella, who wants to join in this conversation. So please bear with us, and see you again next time in the Serenity series. Thank you for watching. Bye, Payal.
Thank you. Bye.